I don't know if I have the ability to assess whether JD Vance is a loser, but I do think Kim from Kentucky, who just called in, does. And so this guy's a loser.
The evidence is piling up.
The evidence is really piling up. Here he is on the Laura Ingraham show, really nailing down the Ingraham contingency because they're wavering, apparently. Here he is talking about, the idea that you are the vice presidential nominee. It is now past Labor Day, and you're going on TV to discuss your own extremely high negativity ratings. That cannot have been part of the plan.
Senator, people, I guess they do these polls and they say, oh, your favorability isn't as high as Tim Walz's. There's a gender gap for your ticket compared to Harris and Walz. How do you go to the undecided?
There was a British thing that I watched like 30 years ago called Sir Harry Enfield. It was very, very funny, at least from the perspective of an American. And there was a sort of an interview show where the interviewer starts off by like, tell me, why do you smell so bad? I can smell you from here. Sort of like Laura Ingraham thing is just like, these things called favorability ratings. Why are you doing so poorly? Go ahead.
As high as Tim Walz's. There's a gender gap for your ticket compared to Harris and Walz. How do you go to the undecideds at this point, the shrinking pool of people, and convince them that not only are you serious and you're seriously smart, but you're a regular person. I've known you for a long time. You're really fun. You're really funny. Versus the Vigeland live show that seems to work for a lot of women voters out there.
Laura, my approach to this is just to get out there and meet as many people as possible. And I know this is Donald Trump's approach too. We don't do the scripted stuff. We don't only speak in front of a teleprompter. We actually like to get out there and give some unscripted remarks, some press conferences, and also just, go out there and talk to people. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing, Laura. I don't put much stock in the polls, even the polls that show us ahead. And there are a lot of those these days. What I put stock in is the wisdom of the American people and the fact that if we go out there, make our case, don't hide behind a teleprompter, but get out there and meet people. The American people are going to elect me and Donald Trump. I have no doubt about that. We just have to do our work, and we've got 65 days to do it.
We're finding out.
When a candidate is saying is leading with I don't believe the polls.
Yeah.
Generally, their polling is not looking very good.
Yeah, we're not asking you about what your approach was. We're asking you why the results are bad.
Yeah,
so just say what your approach was.
You've been the nominee for a month and a half now. Why is that not working? I mean, you have 2 more months, but you've had just about 2 months. Are you just now starting to go out there and mix it up with the people and speak off the cuff? Why do people not like you? It is really, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah Palin, I think her favorability went down a little bit, certainly with Democrats, but not so universal. Nobody likes JD Vance.
Well, some guys thought she was hot. And it's a comparable advantage for JD.
And it's definitely not encouraging, as you said, Sam, that for him to be the running mate for this long, and even Laura Ingraham, presumably the most home gamiest of interviews,
exactly,
has to still say I gotta sort of try and help prove to other people that you aren't the biggest freak on the planet. She can't even shepherd that in. She's trying to delicately, but she still has to be come on, tell them you're normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Listen. I don't know why Laura Ingraham is saying I know you. You're a fun guy. We have fun together.
Trump's he's got good grades.
Yeah, exactly. We were just talking to David Sirota, and he was saying that the Harris campaign seems to be running on a strategy of don't get in the way of the Trump ticket dragging themselves down, which I think is I think it's arguable as to whether, as a political matter, it is a good strategy. You're only talking about 60 days of the campaign at this point. But it is, I have to say, surprising to me to see how, are we okay?
Yeah, I got logged out of Ping for some reason.
Are we still streaming? Okay. So the point I was making was you have the Harris campaign that is clearly running this campaign where they want to make this a referendum on Donald Trump. They don't want to sort of like even present, and they've come out with some policy prescriptions, but they don't want to do anything that's going to create any controversy or stories around them in any meaningful way. And I am surprised by how much the Republicans are on defense. Let's play this clip number 12. Can we play this? Yeah, you can play this. Yeah. Play this clip number 12. Here's Jesse Waters having to defend a Donald Trump campaign stop from what was like a week ago. I mean, this is like, just as a political matter, this is the last thing you want when you're running a campaign. Your House media operations, Fox News, if you're a Republican, is out there. They're not talking about the Harris scandal. The idea that they're having to spend even 20 seconds on a Donald Trump, like defending Donald Trump. Laura Ingram's having JD Vance on to try and argue that he's not a bad person. This is exactly where you don't want to be on September 4th. This is Jesse Waters in the 5.
Donald Trump goes, he's being filmed. Just like wherever Biden goes, there's film crews there. Just like McCain was filmed there, just like other politicians, you've seen those things used in campaign ads. Now, in terms of the incident, there was no incident. From what I understand, a woman had a mental
Pause
issue.
it. Let's be clear.
And
they're talking about a non-incident that, in their words, that happened at Arlington National Cemetery a week ago. But it's such a non-incident that they still haven't talked about it on Fox News. I don't know what the Democrats are doing with this, but they should be doing more about it. Because this is honestly in a national campaign where you have a small group of people who you're trying to either, sort of like get them less interested in voting, frankly, for Donald Trump. This is exactly what you want. You're talking about low information voters, low propensity voters, and to have Fox News having to say like, this whole thing that is, we shouldn't even be paying attention to, don't pay attention to it because it's not really real. Go ahead.
Is used in campaign ads. Now, in terms of the incident, there was no incident. From what I understand, a woman had a mental issue. And I don't know if it was TDS or it was something else, but it was handled and it was minor. And that was it. This is because MSNBC went buck wild because they have nothing else to cover. Because everything Trump does, they have to make a scandal. They made this a scandal for a week. Mm-hmm. Kamala, it was her campaign manager probably, decided to put out a release on it and it blew up in her face. That's what happened. And so I feel bad for Trump. I feel even worse for these families who've now just had an open wound picked at by the Democrat nominee and MSNBC for an entire week. It's totally unacceptable. It should not have been a scandal at all. And I just hope we can get over it.
Yeah. Sounds like it's a scandal. What's amazing is honestly is like for them to having to be talking about MSNBC 60 days out from an election, folks. This is really messed up. That's the stuff that you do like when there's like a lame duck presidency and you got no stories to talk about. You shift into War on Christmas and how MSNBC is crazy. That is pretty, that is pretty telling. They are not winning that argument. Meanwhile, when we talk about the Sun Belt and where this election could be made, like so much of this election is going to turn on Pennsylvania. But there's a couple of states that Harris has a path to win: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. And in North Carolina, they're getting a huge assistance from Mark Robinson, who is the gubernatorial nominee and polling somewhere in the mid-30s. And this guy's a lunatic. Donald Trump has promoted him, and this is WRAL. This is local news in North Carolina. And just to give you a sense, this guy's in the mid-30s. He's polling like 36% was the last poll I saw, and then this story has come out. This is why the Harris campaign thinks they have a chance, because this could be like a Doug Mastriano situation in Pennsylvania. Like Robinson could be just like dragging down the Republican ticket, and this ain't gonna help.
Republican candidate for governor Mark Robinson is under scrutiny today. A Greensboro man claims.
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to make something clear. If you've watched anything of Mark Robinson, 90% chance that you have seen him on a pulpit in a church talking about how gay people are an abomination, how our society is oversexed, how the Democrats are full of sinners, all sorts of like really horrible stuff. I mention that only because this we get a better understanding of why he is so moralistic after this.
Republican candidate for governor Mark Robinson is under scrutiny today. A Greensboro man claims that 20 years ago, he sold explicit videos to Robinson from an adult store in the Guilford County area. Robinson's campaign denies these allegations. WRAL state government reporter Paul Spey tells us now how these allegations even came to light in the first place.
A man named Louis Money says he worked at a couple of adult film stores in the 1990s and early 2000s, and that Mark Robinson was a regular customer. The online publication The Assembly first reported on this story earlier today. Robinson was elected lieutenant governor in 2020 and is now running for governor, and he's courted conservative voters by speaking at churches and calling on schools to get rid of books with what he calls pornographic material. Now, Money, the Greensboro man, says he worked at a couple of places that sold such material: Gents Video and News and I-40 Video and News.
It was way before the internet, and he would come in and preview movies. And we developed a friendship. He would bring pizza.
Money told us he thinks it's funny that someone he says he used to sell videos to could actually be governor someday. So we made a song about it with members of his band who called themselves the Trailer Park Orchestra. And Money insists he's not trying to tear Robinson down.
For one, it was 20 years ago, Number two, it wasn't like he was doing anything illegal. He should be judged on everything else, but he should not be judged for this.
Now, Robinson wrote in his book about some of his behavior from before he became a Christian. As for visiting these adult stores, though, we asked Robinson's campaign about him. A spokesman for the campaign said it's a categorical no to all the ridiculous allegations made by the Assembly.
Let me just read a couple of quotes from the Daily Beast story, because some of these quotes are amazing.
I like to give categorical no's instead of specific detailed no's.
Right, categorical no. No, the answer is no. This is what Money told the Assembly. The Assembly apparently is like a local paper there. North Carolina Assembly. I know he might have problems with gay people, but I don't think he has problems with lesbians. That's just from what his previewing of the thing. He was in, he would come in for previews. Now, like, I didn't know that this really existed. The previews, you could go in and watch, I guess, in a booth.
Without paying full price?
Without having to pay full price to see if you want to rent the video, I guess. And I just don't trust, Money says, he told Raleigh station WRL that Robinson's taste lay in, quote, just straight American porn. I don't know what American porn, I guess. I don't know. And I just don't trust anybody that doesn't like good old American porn, he went on. So no, he shouldn't be judged. He should be judged on everything else, but he should not be judged for this. Apparently, he would come in 5 nights a week.
Some new previews every night, I guess.
I guess so. Crusty Trombone. Should we really be kink shaming gooning in public? What is goon? Well, I want to be clear. I'm not kink shaming anybody. I am all in favor of Robinson, getting porn 5 nights a week, 7 nights a week if he wants.
So it's like going to the grocery store and getting free appetizers.
I just find it interesting to watch how hard people veer into being so moralistic after they have done what they consider to be a sin. But even more importantly, I think it's hilarious because I don't think that's going to help him in North Carolina. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.